Have you ever felt unseen? Like you're carrying secrets too heavy for anyone else to understand, yet too shameful to share? If so, then the story we're about to uncover might be the most powerful encounter you've ever heard. It happened at a well. In the heat of the day, between a Jewish teacher and a Samaritan woman whose name history never recorded. And yet, her story has echoed for over 2,000 years. Because that one conversation with Jesus, today, we're stepping into her world. We're going to walk to that well with her, feel her thirst, her shame, her questions, and discover what Jesus revealed about himself, about her, and about us. And by the end, you might see your own life in her story. It was noon, the hottest time of the day. In ancient Israel, women usually gathered water early in the morning, when the air was cool, the sun still gentle. They came together, chatting, laughing, sharing stories as they filled their jars. But this woman, she came alone. At noon, the time when no one else would be there. Why? Because she was an outcast. Her reputation followed her everywhere. She had been married 5 times. And the man she was living with now wasn't even her husband. In her culture, that was scandalous. Whispers followed her. Judgments pierced her. So she avoided the crowds. She came when no one else would. And on this day, she thought she'd be alone again. But she wasn't. There was a man sitting by the well, a Jewish man, and not just any man, but Jesus. Jews and Samaritans didn't talk. Their history was filled with centuries of conflict, prejudice, and religious division. To most Jews, Samaritans were considered unclean outsiders. And to most Samaritans, Jews were arrogant enemies. But Jesus broke the rules. When the woman approached, he looked at her and simply said, "Will you give me a drink?" She was stunned. "You're a Jew," she replied, "and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" It wasn't just shocking that a Jew would speak to her. It was shocking that a man would speak to a woman in public like this. And even more shocking that this holy teacher seemed to care enough to ask her for water. But Jesus wasn't just asking for water. He was opening the door to a much deeper conversation. He replied, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Living water, not just liquid in a jar, but something eternal, something her soul was desperate for. The woman blinked in confusion. "Sir," she said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well?" She was still thinking about physical water, but Jesus was speaking about something far greater. He answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." Imagine her heart in that moment. Years of broken relationships, years of judgment, years of emptiness. And now this stranger is offering her something, a water that satisfies forever. She said, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." But Jesus wasn't finished. He looked into her soul, and he said, "Go, call your husband and come back." Her heart stopped. She whispered, "I have no husband." And Jesus replied, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you've said is quite true." A stranger she just met, naming the deepest shame of her life. Every scar, every failed relationship, every secret, exposed in a single sentence. And yet, his voice carried no condemnation, only truth, only an invitation, she realized. This man sees me, all of me, and he's still here. Trying to change the subject, she said, "Sir, I can see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem." She wanted to move away from her shame and talk about religion, but Jesus shifted the conversation even further. Believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. A time is coming and has now come when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For they are the kind of worshipers the Father seeks. In other words, it's not about a location. It's not about rituals. It's about the heart. It's about worship that's real. The woman was stunned, so she said, "I know that Messiah is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us." And then came the moment that changed her life. Jesus looked into her eyes and said, "I, the one speaking to you, I am he." She dropped her water jar. The very reason she came to the well, forgotten. She ran back to town, shouting to everyone she could find, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Messiah?" The same woman who avoided people, who carried shame, who came to the well alone, now became a bold messenger. Her encounter with Jesus turned her from outcast to evangelist. And the Bible tells us that many Samaritans in that town believed in Jesus because of her testimony and changed an entire community. Why does this story matter? Because we are all the woman at the well. We've all tried to fill our lives with things that don't satisfy relationships. Success, money, approval. We've all carried shame, secrets, regrets. We've all had moments when we felt unseen, but Jesus meets us there at our own wells, in the heat of our own shame, and he offers living water, forgiveness, grace, eternal life. He doesn't condemn us. He sees us. He tells us the truth, and then he invites us to something better. That's what he did for her. That's what he does for us. Maybe today you feel dry. Maybe you've been chasing things that don't satisfy. Maybe you're carrying a past you wish you could erase. Here's the good news. You don't have to stay thirsty. The same Jesus who spoke to that woman at the well is speaking to you. He is the living water, and when you drink from him, your soul finds rest. The woman at the well thought her life was defined by her mistakes, but after meeting Jesus, her life was defined by his grace, and the same can be true for you. So here's my challenge to you. Don't let this just be a story you hear. Make it your story. Ask Jesus to give you living water. Come and see the one who changed everything.